Hello everyone, welcome back to CloudOpsCraft. Today we are going to discuss about config maps and secrets, like managing app configurations securely. Let me start with a question. When you deploy an app in Kubernetes, where do you keep things like database, URLs, environment variables, API keys, or configuration settings? Do you hardcode them in your container image? That's risky, inflexible, and insecure. Imagine you have the same app running in dev, staging, and production, each with a different database URL or API endpoint. Could you rebuild the image every time? Definitely not, right? So that's where config maps and secrets comes in. Both help you externalize configuration, meaning you keep configs outside of your container image and inject them into pod at runtime. Okay, so let's start with the config map. Okay, so config map, we will use config map to store non-sensitive data. Okay, we will store non-sensitive configuration data here. Even in interviews they will ask, okay, like what is the difference between config map and secrets. Okay, the major differences in config map, you will store non-sensitive configurations. In secrets we will store sensitive configurations. Okay, so a config map is like a configuration directory for your application. You can store environment variables, file contents, or even whole config files inside it. Think of a config map like your settings.json or .env file, but managed by Kubernetes. You use config maps for these things mostly. Okay, we will use config map for application mode, okay, to set whether debug is true or false, like that. Okay, which is about application mode, and you can store database URLs, and you can store even log levels. Okay, and feature flags and all. Okay, so how to create a config map? There are three ways to create a config map. Okay, first way is creating from literal values. Option one is creating from literal values. First, I will explain the command. After that, we will do it in our terminal. Okay, in our cluster. Okay, so the command is kubectl create config map, and I'll provide my config map name as app-config. Okay, and here we are using literal values, right? Obviously we have to use literals, okay, while we are using our configurations. Okay, so from hyphen literal equal to app mode equal to production, for example. Okay, and again hyphen from hyphen literal equal to log level equal to debug. Okay, this is option one. Option one is belongs to literal values. Okay, so now option two. Option two is using a file. Okay, from a file. Okay, so we can use the command called kubectl create config map. App config is the config name, hyphen from. This time we are using file, right? So you just call a file. Okay, initially you can remember like this. Okay, but after some time, once you are familiar with it, you can go with you can directly write. Okay, you will be remember. Actually, the difference between these two things is in literal values you will provide your values in the command itself. Okay, but in option 2 you will create a file, okay, where you will store your configurations, okay, and you will pause it. That is the difference. Option 3 is Option 3 is from a YAML manifest, which means you will write an YAML file and you will store it. Okay, let's do one by one, so we will be understanding it. Okay, so let's do it in our cluster. Okay, here actually I am using Minikube. Okay, I already created video how to set up Minikube on your AWS virtual machine or any virtual machine. Okay, you can follow. Okay, I'll provide playlist link in the description. You can watch existing videos, so you will be familiar till last video. Okay, so let's start. First is option 1, which is from literal values. Okay, so before that we have to start Minikube. Okay, Minikube, I'll just copy the command from history. So this is the command to start Minikube start. Here we are using Docker driver, so we have to just provide the driver name. Okay, because I stopped virtual machine, since I am turning on it, Minikube also stopped. Okay, so you have to turn it on if you are stopping your VM. Okay, now it is up. If I type Minikube status, you can see everything is running and configured. Okay, now is from literal values. Okay, let's create a config map with the literal values. kubectl create config map. App config is the name that I am providing for my config map. Okay, better I'll write as a single command. Okay, from hyphen literal equal to app underscore mode equal to production. Okay, next is hyphen from hyphen literal equal to log underscore level equal to debug. Now we have created the config map. Okay, how to view it? Okay, we created it. How to view it? We have a command. Okay, you can use kubectl get config map. Here we can see app config that we have created. Now you can ask again one more question. Then how I can view this like data, which means you just use name of your config map, which is app-config -o YAML. So here you can see the data you have provided. Okay, this is how you have to use you have to create config map from literal values. Now we will create a config map from text file. Okay, so I'll just copy this is the value that we are going to provide. I'll just use one text file called config.txt and I have pasted the data. Okay, this is for non-sensitive only. Okay, to store non-sensitive data. Okay, so only it's visible here. Okay, so now we already created a config map with the app config, right? So this time we are going to create a config map with text file. So we will try to use different config map. What we can do is we can use app-config-1. Okay, so kubectl create config map app-config -1 from. Now we are going to create from a file, so we have to use from -file equal to config.txt. Okay, now how you can view? Again you can use the same command kubectl get config map. Here this time -1. Now you can see the data. It clearly showing, you can see the difference. Okay, since we have used the command, it is directly pointing to our data. Here it is clearly showing From data we have a text file. Inside the text file we have this data, like that it is shown. Okay, so option 3 is by writing an YAML file. Now what we will do is we will write an YAML file and we will do it. We will just create a config map. Okay, so vi config dot YAML. Okay, so API version, here we have to use v1 version. Okay, so for config map, for pod and all we have to use v1. Okay, kind is what kind of object that you are declaring here. We are going to declare config map, so I have to provide config map here. Config, it is case sensitive. Okay, so for map m should be capital, for config c should be capital, remember this. Okay, metadata, even you can check documentation. Okay, you no need to remember this. Okay, once you familiar with writing code, then you can able to do it, okay, by yourself. This time I am just going to create app-config-2. Okay, because one we have app-config we have created from literal values, and we created app-config-1 from a file option. Now we are going to create app-config-2 in YAML format. Okay, name and data, just you can provide data here. Data app underscore mode production log level debug. Data, we have written the data, we have written our data in our config.yaml. Let's apply this kubectl apply -f config.yaml. We are getting some error. Let's check what is the error. Kind metadata name is correct, data also correct. Okay, I found it. Actually, for API version we should be capital, so only it is showing API version in error. You can see it should be it was not set like that because we have used small v, so it didn't find it. Okay, so let's apply this. Okay, now we have created. Again we can use kubectl get config, this time app config to YAML. Okay, here you can see the data. Okay, this is the data. So whenever you use a different option, it will store your data in different format. Okay, but purpose is same. Okay, so even you can call this config map into the pod also. Okay, so how you can call, we already written one pod, right? We will just try to call this config map from there. Okay, in our previous videos we have created. No, I'll just go there. And where is pod? I think nginx.yaml only we created as a pod. nginx.yaml. Yeah. Okay, you can just use env from. Okay, under ports itself we can use env from hyphen config map ref name app-config. Okay, we have this data, right? So we can save this. Okay, so the inside pod, the environmental variable like app mode and log level are available. Okay, so this is how we can attach our config map to the pods. Okay, as well as you can attach this as a volumes also. Okay, so based on your need you can do it. Okay, next is, now till now we have discussed about config map. Next concept is secret. By name itself indicates, right, it consists of sensitive information. So we will use secret to store sensitive information securely. Sensitive information securely. Now imagine instead of log levels, you are dealing with passwords, API tokens, or SSH keys. You don't want those sitting in plain text inside config map or git repos. That's where secrets comes in. Yeah, is like just a config map, but it uses base 64 encoded and access controlled. Okay, config let's create a config map. Even from config map also we can use. There are two methods to create a like a secret. Okay, so the difference between config map and secret is in a config map we will store non-sensitive data. In secret we will store sensitive data. That is a major difference. Okay, remember this. Okay, so this use case is very important while you are working with Kubernetes. Okay, again, now let's create a secret using option 1, which is from literals. kubectl create secret generic, and I'll name this as a db secret as my secret name. Okay, and from literal, since we are using literal equal to db user. You can store sensitive information like username and passwords. Okay, so the username and password db pass my pass at 123 like this. Okay, this is first option. Second option is you can write an YAML file. Okay, but if you write an YAML file, you have to store your username and password in base 64. But even if you store in base 64, if you push that into GitHub, anyone can decode it. Okay, it's a simple thing. Okay, so in real time what we will do is like as a DevOps engineers, if you're going to work in any company, okay, so mostly we will store our secrets. For example, if we are using AWS, then we will store our secrets on AWS secret manager. If we are using Azure, then we will use to store secrets in Azure Key Wallet. Otherwise we will use sealed secrets. Okay, that is a separate topic that I'll cover later sessions. Okay, so now you just understand about secret. Okay, in upcoming videos I'll definitely do how to work with sealed secrets also. I'll make a video on sealed secrets. Okay, now just we will learn about secret. Okay, general secrets that is offered in Kubernetes. Okay, so the second is writing YAML file. Okay, so first this we will execute in our terminal. Okay, after that we will write an YAML file and we will store it. Okay, so let's start. So the command that I have explained you, right, that only I am going to run now. kubectl create secret generic db secret from literal db user, which is username, db username equal to admin from literal equal to db underscore pass equal to my pass. Okay, 1 2 3. Now we have created a secret. Okay, now how to view this? Okay, again kubectl, you to list your secrets you can do kubectl uh, get secrets. This is the way to list. Now we are going to view it. Okay, so kubectl get the same thing. Okay, what we did for our YAML file. Okay, get secret name is db hyphen secret, and we are going to use hyphen o for o, and we are going to o for open YAML. Okay, what is the issue? Okay, spelling is wrong. Okay, secret spelling is wrong. Okay, here you can see I have given as username as admin and the password as my pass. Okay, it is converted this into base 64, so only you are not seeing the actual one. Okay, so how you can view the actual one then? First, actually it is already encoded, we have to decode it. Okay, so to decode, what you have to do, so you just type echo hyphen n in double quotes, just copy the encoded value base 64 hyphen decode. Here you can see admin. Okay, this is how you have to decode it. Okay, but in real time we will go with sealed secret, so you can even you don't need to worry on pushing this code into github. Okay, so this is how it will convert into a base 64 as we discussed. Okay, next method is by writing an YAML file again. Okay, let me write YAML file secret dot YAML. Okay, YAML extension is wrong. Let me close this again. Okay, API version again. API version. This time I'll write v like version with capital V1. Otherwise it will throw you an error. Otherwise it will throw us an error. This time we are going to use secret object, so we have to provide secret. Okay, secret. Next is metadata name db hyphen secret hyphen 1 I'll provide because I already have one secret with this name. Okay, now type I'll use opaque. Do you have any idea why we have to use type here? Because in kind itself I just provided that I am going to use an secret, you can see. So it is one of the Kubernetes object, then Kubernetes will know, right? Then what is the need for providing this externally? Any idea what may be the issue? Like what may be the need, not an issue. Okay, simply okay, this field tells Kubernetes what kind of secret it is. Okay, so this type colon opaque indicates it's a generic user defined secret, which means we can decide the keys like db user, db password, token, API key, anything. Okay, Kubernetes does not try to interrupt or validate the secret. Okay, it is the most common secret type. In simple words, opaque is like a plain custom secret that Kubernetes treats as a raw key value data. Okay, so that is a concept here. Okay, now you know about opaque. Now let's write a data here. Data, but this time we have to write our data in which format? Base 64 format. Okay, basic, let me write, it's easy only. Okay, y w r t a w4 equal to, which is admin. Okay, under db password, db underscore pass. You don't need to remember this, or you don't need to understand this, okay? Because if you use the command that we have previously used, right, echo hyphen n, if you type admin slash base 64, it will provide you this. Okay, I already know this decoded value, like that's why I am directly writing it. I hope it will be correct, otherwise also no issues, just we are testing it, but I'll write it as correct. MTIZ. Okay, now let's apply this kubectl apply hyphen f secret.yaml. Again we are getting some issue. Let's open this. This is not the right one. YAML. This time v is capital in capital, then why we are getting an error? Kind secret metadata type. Let me review the error one more time. Here I made a mistake. Do you remember? Like, do you know what issue I made? Actually, the thing is, we have my password encode is wrong. Okay, the thing I have provided for password is not correct. Okay, in secrets, because it while it is decoding, it is not getting proper value, it seems. Okay, let me close this. Actually, this value is wrong, it seems. Okay, so the right value for my pass 123 will be here equal should not come, and here capital X should not come, and small l h n z m I t z. Okay, which is, this is also correct. Okay, okay, let me open it again and I'll check is there any other issue. This is correct and this is correct. Okay, this time we'll try, it should work, because last time secret issue, yeah, secret is created. Okay, now again we can open this. You can see it is encoded as usual. Okay, we can decode as we discussed. Okay, and even you can attach this. Okay, so like config map, you can attach secret also. How you can do it, that only we are going to discuss now. So consider this is our pod. Again you can use, like we already used env, right? Here I just use hyphen secret ref name db hyphen secret. Like this. Okay, like this you can say. Okay, so the key difference between config map versus secret is, purpose is config map is for non-sensitive config, secret is for sensitive data. Storage is config map is a plain text, but secret is it uses base 64 encoded. Access is, while coming to config map, it is a general access, but in secret it's a role based access. Okay, and encryption in config map it's an optional. Okay, but in secret it is recommended. Use cases, you can use config map for environment configs, and you can use secret for API tokens and credentials. Security best practices is use secret for any credentials. Okay, never config map. Don't use config map for secrets. Okay, enable etcd encryption for secrets at rest. Restrict access with RBAC, that we will discuss in upcoming class. Okay, avoid committing secret YAMLs to git. Okay, otherwise go with sealed secrets that we will learn. Integrate with external secret manager like AWS secret manager or HashiCrap wallet or Azure key wallet. Okay, that also we will discuss in upcoming classes. For this class this is enough. Okay, so if you like this breakdown, subscribe to CloudOpsCraft. We will simplify cloud and DevOps concepts every week. Thank you.